Okay. It's chopped salad time with Chion Wolf. I'm Chion Wolf. Let's chop some salad. But first, let's read a book from the letter of David Eagleman. It got messed up
on the outside of the frame.
Oh no. We're having some technical difficulties after 42 episodes. We're getting there. Thanks, Mio. Oh no. Well, YouTube Live is going well. Facebook Live, on the other hand. Mio, guess what just happened?
What happened?
You went from executive producer to director of photography. I'm not sure that's an upgrade. But for you it is. Let's try this again.
I've never been a director of photography.
I've never been a director of anything. Except myself.
Except for your own production.
My own
company.
life. Yeah. It's chopped salad time with Chion Wolf. I'm Chion Wolf. Let's chop some salad. But first, let's read a letter from the prophet David Eagleman from the book of Some 40 Tales from the Afterlives. This is a tradition I've begun and will have a finite ending because the book has only 40 stories. They're all very short. This one's called Metamorphosis. There are 3 deaths. The first is when the body ceases to function. The second is when the body is consigned to the grave. The third is that moment sometime in the future when your name is spoken for the last time. So you wait in this lobby until the third death. There are long tables with coffee, tea, and cookies. You can help yourself. There are people here from all around the world, and with a little effort, you can strike up a convivial small talk. Just be aware that your conversation may be interrupted at any moment by the callers, who broadcast your new friend's name to indicate that there will never again be another remembrance of him by anyone anywhere on earth. Your friend slumps, face like a shattered and re-glued plate, saddened even though the callers tell him he's kindly off to a better place. No one knows where that better place is or what it offers, because no one exiting through that door has returned to tell us. Tragically, many people leave just as their loved ones arrive, since the loved ones were the only ones doing the remembering. We all wag our heads at that typical timing. The whole place looks like an infinite airport waiting area. There are many famous people from the history books here. If you get bored, you can strike out in any given direction, past aisles and aisles of seats. After many days of walking, you'll start to notice that people look different, and you'll hear the tones of foreign languages. People congregate among their own kind, and one sees the spontaneous emergence of territories that mirror the pattern on the surface of the planet. With the exception of the oceans, you're traversing a map of the Earth. There are no time zones here. No one sleeps, even though they mostly wish they could. The place is evenly lit by fluorescent lights. Not everyone is sad when the callers enter the room and shout out the next list of names. On the contrary, some people beg and plead, prostrating themselves at the callers' feet. These are generally the folks who've been here a long time, too long, especially those who are remembered for unfair reasons. For example, take the farmer over there, who drowned in a small river 200 years ago. Now, his farm is the site of a small college, and the tour guides each week tell his story. So he's stuck, and he's miserable. The more his story is told, the more the details drift. He is utterly alienated from his name. It is no longer identical with him, but continues to bind. The cheerless woman across the way is praised as a saint, even though the roads in her heart were complicated. The gray-haired man at the vending machine was lionized as a war hero, then demonized as a warlord, and then finally canonized as a necessary firebrand between 2 moments in history. He waits with aching heart for his statues to fall, and that is the curse of this room. Since we live in the heads of those who remember us, we lose control of our lives and become who they want us to be. That was a letter from the prophet David Eagleman from the book of Some 40 Tales from the Afterlives. One of my most favorite books. Next week, the story is called missing. And the first line is, the debate about God's gender is misdirected. So we'll read that story next week on It's Chop Salad Time. Let's do some chopping. While I'm chopping, I'm going to tell you about some things I'm up to this week. But I'd also like you to tell me how you're doing. If you have any questions for me specifically, or if you have questions for Emily specifically, if you have questions for either of our cats, Whiskey or Nephthys, you may send them our way. We'll see what kind of an interpretation we can get out of the cats. I'd like you to tell me what the best part of your week was. I'd like you to tell me what the worst part of your week was. I'd like you to tell me if there's something that you want to do again. I want you to tell me if there's something that you never want to do again. I'd like you to tell me if there's someone who you'd like to see again. I would like you to tell me what you have plans for next week. My plans for this week, after I'm done chopping, I'm going to go to CT Improv's Underground Comedy Theater in downtown Hartford, Connecticut, which is normally where I have my advice show Asking for a Friend. But tonight is Fools Fall in Love with Nightfall, a cabaret featuring Chad Brown Springer, who I mentioned last week on It's Chopped Salad Time with Chion Wolf. I'm Chion Wolf. As being somebody who is inevitably going to enjoy lots of attention from the world for his talent. He is just a very special person. And so he'll be there tonight. And so will I, performing a song with Robin Zaleski. We're going to be doing a song by the Traveling Wilburys called The End of the Line. And it's going to be really good. The reason why we do it is every year we have an event in Hartford called Nightfall. It takes place every October. It's in a different park every year. A different Hartford park every year. And it gets people to these parks. A lot of people are afraid of a park in Hartford because someone was stabbed there in 1992. So therefore never go to that park. But also it's a cool opportunity to get folks from the neighborhood to volunteer, to make stuff, be a part of the performance. All of our performers are paid, and the performance is usually sort of a lesson learned sort of a thing, whether it be about accepting refugees or learning how to recycle correctly, or the importance of keeping our planet not a flaming dumpster fire. So there's a lot of goals it achieves, but it costs a hell of a lot of money to put on. And I'm on the board of directors because I love it so much. And these fundraisers, these performances, are part of what makes it so we can keep this thing going. So that's tonight at CT Improv's Underground Comedy Theater in downtown Hartford, Connecticut, starting at 7 o'clock. You can get tickets at the door. There's a bar there, so you can drink if you're into that sort of thing. And just enjoy a wonderful performance by some outstanding Hartfordites for a really good cause. So I want you to know about that. Also, on Wednesday, I will be at the AquaTurf in Southington for the Love of Literacy fundraiser for the Literacy Volunteers of Connecticut. That's going to be cool. They're going to have wine tastings and heavy hors d'oeuvres, is what it says in the event invitation. Heavy hors d'oeuvres.
Ooh, heavy hors d'oeuvres.
Oh, yeah. I know if I was like hors d'oeuvres, you'd be like, no thanks. But I said heavy hors d'oeuvres, so you can get your tickets online by searching Literacy Volunteers of Connecticut. Get those heavy hors d'oeuvres. Emily likes spinach in her salad. And what Emily wants, Emily gets.
Got some comments.
Oh, really? I can't wait to hear what you're doing and what you're thinking.
Those cats are out.
Oh, the cats
They're
are
out.
Oh,
Yeah, you gotta get a better
system. Uh-oh. We'll get there.
yeah.
Once I really launch my Patreon, and I'm overwhelmed with Patreons-ish, we'll have some money. We'll get a wireless lav mics, Mio, and maybe like a screen in front of me where I can see all the comments, and then you don't have to moderate.
You're gonna make me obsolete.
Oh no.
Barbara Kopelman Goldhammer knitting socks for Sock Madness while watching It's Chopped Salad Time on my birthday.
Happy birthday! Sock, salad, and birthday. Happy birthday. Congratulations. You are still alive. That is cool.
Robert Melendez says, hey.
Hey, Robert.
My mom says, happiness is having family come to visit and stay this weekend. Our grandson Everett and his lovely mama Danny played at Cole's Children's Museum. Kenneth Hamilton says, hi there.
Hi, Kenneth Hamilton.
Stephanie Marco Lance is watching.
Yeah, Stephanie. Stephanie a wonderful artist. You should look up Stephanie Marco Lance on the internet.
Don't forget to chop the salad.
Don't forget to chop the salad. Thank you. I think it's time to chop the salad. You ready? It's Chopped Salad Time with Chion Wolf. I'm Chion Wolf. It's brought to you by the Peterson Family Foundation and these scissors. Let's chop it. How exciting, a birthday salad time. Hey, since it's your birthday, tell me how you want to die. I love hearing how people want to die. I mean, you talk about how you were born. I was born in an explosion. My mom had 3 C-sections before me, and they're like, lady, cut it out. This is not good. Nothing good can come out of a 4th baby. And there's the 4th baby, and her uterus exploded. And it was in 1980, back when C-sections had that vertical scar. And so when they cut her open, it just exploded. There's blood all over the nurses' glasses. They're frantically wiping off the doctor's face, and they raise me up, and I'm dripping in blood. And my mom screams, and they say, "Don't worry, it's your blood." All right, we chopped it. What do you think? See, if we had the technology, what we could do next is I could say, all right, I want an audience poll. What should we chop next? The peppers, the celery, the cucumber, or the onions? And then, if I had a big monitor in front of me, I would give you like 20 seconds, and there'd be an app or something, and then it would show, you want me to cut the peppers? Oh, okay. And then it would be like more of an audience participation thing than it already is. It's gonna happen.
Stephanie Marco Lance says, chop salad time while I paint.
Right on!
And Barbara says, quietly in my sleep.
You want to die quietly in your sleep. Better than loudly in your sleep. When you go to bed at night, do you ever like... Alright, so the nightmare is, like home invasion. And then if you're prone to anxiety, you might think, oh God, it's tonight the night that we're going to have a home invasion. Just want to put that out there. I don't have a finished thought about that. It's just giving you an anxious thought if you didn't already have one. Sometimes when I have anxious thoughts, tell me what your technique is for controlling or living with anxious thoughts. But when I have anxious thoughts, I try to not fight with them. Hear me out. Speaking of home invasions, they're sort of like brain invasions, right? You are having a perfectly fine day, or you're not anxious or upset. You're not necessarily super happy, but you're okay. And all of a sudden, this vividly awful thought comes to mind. And then you're like, ugh, what's wrong with me that I'm thinking these vividly awful thoughts? And then you start like thinking deeper about the awful thought. And then it's awful more. And then you keep thinking about it. And then these neural pathways are being created because you keep thinking about it. And an event that is real is hard to distinguish between an event that is vividly imagined. So sometimes what I try to do is say, oh, hello, you awful thought. Welcome to my brain. Bathroom's over there. Need some water? You can help yourself. If you need a glass, it's the cabinet with the bird on it. It's so nice of you to drop by. I mean, really, you could have come anywhere, you ridiculous, awful thought. And you chose my brain. Cool. Well, thank you for coming. The back door is right here, and you can just hold the imaginary back door open for the thought, and then the thought is like, oh, it's a very beautiful house. I'm going to kill you in your sleep, but a very beautiful house. This is a brand new house. Looks like a rebuild. And make like a stupid small talk with a terrible thought. And eventually the terrible thought finishes its glass of water. And you can say, thank you for coming. Wow, that was a really interesting conversation we had. And maybe I'll use this vivid imagery as some sort of a inspiration for a painting, or what's the opposite of inspiration? I will never paint this vividly imagined awful thought. Thank you. Now I've established this truth. So instead of fighting against the bad thoughts, trying to accommodate the fact that they exist, and then show them the way out. Because maybe some awful thoughts stay because you don't even show them a way out of your brain. Like, what an obvious option. Not that it always works. I know anxiety is super complicated. But maybe next time, just let them know. It's like when you go into a theater and you show everybody where the exit rows are, or the exit doors. And then it's like, oh yeah, no, I could definitely leave if something goes wrong. Maybe that unhappy thought wants to leave because you're not giving it what it wants. So show them out. Mia, I got you something. Thanks, Mia. So what is your advice when you feel anxious, besides drinking and smoking weed?
Well, Barbara says, but not for a long time, referencing the death. And she says to do the cucumbers next.
Ah! I will do the cucumbers next. After the peppers. I would like to die in a plane crash. Preferably one where the plane is going very fast. Because I know that some plane crashes don't necessarily mean you'll die instantly. That's a terrifying thought that I can show the door to. But I figure it'll be instant death. My family won't have to worry about burying me. It won't because of something stupid I did, like drive drunk. It'll just be kind of a wrong place, wrong time thing. Oh, my family would probably get a huge settlement from the aircraft, whoever operates the airplane. There's definitely some, and I'd hopefully die instantly. And I only say this because I was on a plane with a lot of turbulence a couple of years ago. The turbulence was so bad, people were doing the sign of the cross and downing their drinks. And I felt suddenly very peaceful. Later I looked up on the internet, like I felt that was uncalled for. I should have been freaking out too. But it turns out that when people, it's not uncommon that when people are under the impression that their life is about to end, that they are overwhelmed with a sense of peace, which is probably a really great mechanical or response from the brain to ease your final moments. But I felt very much like overwhelmed with peace and appreciation that I was able to think my final thoughts, and like think about the people that meant something to me. I just thought that was a cool opportunity. Plus, your whole life, you may wonder, like, I wonder what's gonna kill me. I wonder how I'll die. And then, like, under the circumstance where I was in, I was like, oh wow. So now I know what it's gonna be. Cool. Like, it didn't happen so fast that I didn't know it was happening. There's something appealing about that to me, as long as it doesn't last too long. So I figured if I was born in an explosion, I would like to die in one too. That would just be a nice bow tie, knot, bookend.
Tied up nicely in a bow.
Yes, that.
Stephanie Marco Land says submerge myself in art and music.
That's how you'd like to die?
Helps me deal with bad thoughts.
Oh. It also would be a cool way to die.
I'm drowning in music.
That does help.
I'd probably blow your eardrums out and bleed internally.
Ooh, death by sound. Huh? Isn't there some like weaponry? Meow. Is this too big? Like a cat can have it.
I'll take both halves though.
Meow
But not for a very long
She
time.
says ha 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 ha.
All right. How would you like to be if your body continues to exist or is found intact or intact enough? How would you like your body to be disposed of? That's what I want you to type into the little box. I would like to be wrapped. I mean, this is obviously if I don't die in a plane crash and I'm not completely obliterated. But I want to be wrapped naked in a shroud, dig a hole. I wouldn't mind just like a pine coffin or something. And then my friends bring onions, the most beautiful onion you can find, and you fill it with the hole with me, and then onions on top of me. That's what I would like. Buried in the onions of my friends.
My mom sent a link for stress and anxiety relief. You can read it later.
Wonderful.
And Larry Elsner's watching.
Larry Elsner's watching.
We had kielbasa yesterday.
We had kielbasa today too.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. We had Larry's kielbasa. Larry makes the best kielbasa and breakfast sausage and jerky. Turkey jerky you wouldn't expect would be that good. Turns out when Larry Elsner makes turkey jerky, boy, different ball game. Also, Cindy, Emily's mom, had once told us that she was interested in when you put your body into like it can grow a tree. Celery time. I love that idea of processing your body in such a way that it can be turned into mulch or soil, compost. I like that a lot.
Larry says I got caught. And did you get some?
Get some, I don't know, but you gave us some sausage. I mean, no, Larry, you gotta give us some sausage. You've never given us any sausage ever, so you should probably give us some sausage. Speaking of Larry.
He said it's like a charity. I forgot who I give it to.
Larry, I want to say we haven't gotten any from you recently, but you brought some to the mouth off. You were very generous, and you gave us a lot of sausage.
Barbara now wants sausage.
Larry, Barbara needs some sausage.
My mom said that it's a breathing practice.
To
And
calm down.
Stephanie wants her ashes thrown to the wind on a beach on Block Island.
That's nice. Into the wind. Maybe like if your family throws you into the wind, they'll be in the wind and then they'll get you in their teeth.
Okay.
That'd be cool. By the way, this is a Larry Elsner chopper.
He says Yukon women won again and carry on. And also asked if we ever ate the prosciutto.
Oh yeah, that's gone.
That was like one of the first things. Gone.
Gone, Larry. It went through our bodies and was turned into poop. Thank you for that poop.
Barbara says it's my birthday. Should that get me sausage? Mary says, okay, Barbara, I'll put you on the list.
It's Chop Salad time with Chion Wolf. I'm Chion Wolf, bringing people together for 43 episodes.
Stephanie says, hi, 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 in your face, everyone.
In your face. I love it. On my gravestone, this idea was brought to you by Jane Macy Painter of Hartford. I wanted to say, Chion Wolf, your birthday, death day. She really went for it. Speaking of Death Day, how crazy is it that, for all we know, today is our future death day. Like, you don't know when it's going to be. It would be cool if it was on your birthday, just not this one. But like, if my death day is June 12th, 2038, hold on to this video, because if I'm right, that is crazy. When that day comes this year, like, I don't know. I'm just hanging out or whatever.
Such weird light.
It's very strange light right now. Like, what'll the weather be like when you die?
Hard to know because you'll be dead.
Yeah.
Larry says, see, I show up and the tool is being used. Okay, great. I have a gift card from CT Comedy Theater. Are you involved in all of them? No.
Just my show.
Only your show.
Just the one with Chion Wolf on it. But tonight, I'm going to be there for the Nightfall Fools Fall in Love fundraiser. And I'm going to sing a duet with Robin Zaleski. A song written by a bunch of rich white guys. It's fun saying white people. People just aren't used to white people being categorized as white people. You know? It's Vidalia Onion time! I think I mentioned this last week, but in case you go to a show at the Jorgensen Center for the Performing Arts and Stores, when the lights start going down and the announcement comes up to please turn off your cell phones and to locate your nearest emergency exits, that's me. I'm the voice of Jorgensen now. Well, I'm not the voice of Jorgensen. I'm the voice of the pre-show announcements at Jorgensen. And that is pretty cool, considering I dropped out.
Mary says, I saw that I'm going to Jake Gilbert's for Becky's birthday dinner. And Greg Garcia says, you need to name your next pet Vidalia. You're welcome.
Vidalia!
That's a nice idea. Dahlia for short.
Dahlia, Viddy. Leah. Emily was excited about possibly naming our cat Cilantro, and then we could call it Lonnie. Lonnie. But Whiskey was not a cilantro.
No, he wasn't.
And plus, some people really hate cilantro.
Some people really hate cats.
And cats.
I think it works.
Yeah.
It'd be funny if we get a little dog. It
Yeah.
could be cilantro.
Cilantro. Speaking of little dogs, we realized when we met our dog-in-law, Betty, well, she's Michael's too. Anyway, a tiny little teacup Yorkie, my brother Michael and his wife have. Her name is Betty. Emily and I want a large dog, like a German Shepherd, Golden Retriever, Husky, something like that.
Already trained.
Ideally already trained. A police dog reject because it was too nice, something like that.
Or it's retired.
Yeah, but then it's old.
Maybe not. Maybe they retire dogs after like 4 years.
Alright, I'll look
I
into
don't
this.
know. I don't know how this works.
Alright, we should look into that.
We know some people.
We know a few people. So we had written off getting a small dog, because why would you get a small dog when you have cats? And then we met Betty, who's so small. But within, I would say, half an hour of meeting her, Emily was holding her, and Emily looked at me with her own puppy dog eyes and said, "Can we get one?" And I didn't say no. Not that it's entirely up to me, but we are a partnership here. So now I appreciate that some small dogs can be pretty freaking awesome. As long as they're not yappy assholes. Not gonna have a yappy dog.
Yeah, no, I don't want a yappy dog.
Does anybody really want a yappy dog?
Maybe.
I mean, people get them and they keep them.
I think sometimes they don't think that it'll be yappy.
And then it's yappy and now you're screwed. So you don't want to bring it back. So you look like a bad person even though you're not. It's peel egg time. This is why we're onesies. How you doing out there? You alright? Oh, Leo. Making it a full-time job.
Larry says, okay, gotta go.
Bye, Larry!
Keep on moving on. See you soon. You also, Emily. Bye.
Bye!
Stephanie says, Paw Safe Animal Rescue gets a wide variety of awesome dogs and pups.
Paw safe.
Yappy dogs are one of my pet peeves. That's what she says.
Yeah. One of my pet peeves is pens being stored upside down. Pens should be stored down so that the ink is ready to go. Why would you store a pen upside down? Why would you do that? Don't do that. What are your pet peeves? Why are they called pet peeves? It's just a nice egg. Oh, you know how I do the podcast for Connecticut Voice Magazine? Don't answer that, I cannot hear you. I interviewed last week Connecticut's kid governor, Ella Briggs. And she's freaking awesome. She's had a lot of media to deal with recently. I'm pretty sure I'm the first one who asked her what her bedtime was. I asked because I wanted to know, did this kid governor thing, like, do you get any perks, like later bedtime? Extra dessert? Higher quantity of sleepovers allowed? Are people nicer to her once they realize who she is? She told this funny story about how when she was at the dentist recently, the woman cleaning her teeth said, "You know, you look just like the kid governor." And Ella was like, "I wanted to tell her I am the kid governor, but my mouth was full with her hands." So she was like, "Ah!" But the lady never did find out that Ella was kid governor. But she's really cool, really smart. You'll have to just tune in for whenever the podcast gets released, but she said a couple times, like I asked her if she reads the comments. She's 11 years old. She knows how to use the internet, you know? She says, "No, I have my friends look for me." At one point I said, "Some people think you're too young to know," which of course is absurd. too young to know like what makes you happy? That doesn't make any sense. I think the older you get, sometimes the harder it is to find out what makes you happy. First crush I ever had on anybody was in kindergarten. You know that you like dinosaurs. Nobody's telling our, 2.5-year-old friend that he's too young to know he likes dinosaurs. What would you say a kid is too young to know who they have a crush on or who makes their heart race? But she said a few times in our interview about how, like, I asked her if she could beam one message into the heads of people who don't think that she should know about her gender identity at this point or sexual orientation at this point. She said a few times, they can ask me if they're confused. If they don't understand, everybody has a right to be happy and be loved and be themselves, and if they're confused, they can ask me. It's like, I gotta tuck that away. I'm not sure how it may apply in terms of my life as a 38-year-old, but I'm gonna tuck that away. If anyone's confused, you can ask me. So if there's anything you're confused about, you can ask me. I don't know if I can help you, but you can ask me. Oh, Mio. Climbing across the table.
Mark says, when people say very unique.
Redundant words. I'm with you. That's obnoxious.
Stephanie says, people that eat loudly with an open mouth.
Sure.
And people that don't say thank you after you hold the door open for them.
Awful. That's gross. Oh. Which of course makes me think about the awkward moments when like somebody is behind you but they're not right behind you, but you know that if you don't hold the door you're gonna look like an asshole. So then you hold the door and then they feel like, oh, I gotta rush. I bet it's happening somewhere in the world right now. Right now. Yeah, very unique. Too much overkill. That's a good one.
AM in the morning.
Oh, you plucked that string, didn't you? Oh, I got a goopy one, Mio.
Ooh. See, the goopy ones, when you do it in the salad, it just kind of leaves this weird goop at the bottom of the salad.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think I've been converted to the Mio hard egg.
Because then it absorbs.
I
the
like
salad
the
dressing.
goofiness if I'm just eating it as an egg.
Right. Well, here, I'll take this.
It's okay, you can still give it to me,
Okay.
Mio.
I got it. Okay, you got it.
I don't want you to suffer.
Mio. Win-win. I don't mind the yolky bottomness.
I don't mind it. I just prefer. You know what I'm saying?
I know what you're saying.
I suppose that means on some level I mind it. It's complicated.
It's complicated.
It's complication time, Chion Wolf.
I'm Chion Wolf.
Let me complicate your life.
You know how to make things harder? Have you ever wanted to make things harder? I sure have. I've had 3 people ask me, including someone on our board of directors, if I did a voiceover for Xfinity. Apparently there's somebody out there who sounds a lot like me. So I think that's great. Because that means that someone just got paid for doing an Xfinity commercial and they sound like me. Now, I am hireable for voiceover, obviously. But I haven't made a real active point of making that a big part of my business plan yet. But that definitely makes me think, like, I better get on it. Look at my hand. It's salad dressing time, but I need to wash my hands. Uh-oh. Okay, pull please. All right, we're coming to the end of It's Chopped Salad Time with Chion Wolf. on Facebook Live and YouTube Live. I have a YouTube channel. It's youtube.com/ChionWolf. If you subscribe to it, you'll see all the cool things I put up there. Like some animation projects, this show, but from a slightly different angle. Okay, so for my salad dressing, you may notice that I already have some in here, and that's because I didn't finish it from last week. You'll also remember, if you tuned in last week, we were almost out of olive oil. And I said, Emily, I didn't say that. I said, Mia, we gotta get more olive oil. And so I got more olive oil. Riveting. And then we put in some balsamic. And then I think about how all this is going into my body, but not at once. Finally, it's Chion Wolf onion salt time.
Yeah!
Yeah! We got a dehydrator from Savers and some onions, and then we just put it on in there, and then added salt and put it in there and put it into a coffee grinder. Killing it. All right. Now is the moment you've all been waiting for in 3, 2, 1. Thanks for watching It's Chopped Salad Time with Chion Wolf. I'm Chion Wolf. That was Emily Catherine Peterson. You didn't see Whiskey and Nephthys.
Because they're sleeping.
Because they're sleeping. Lazy bastards. No, I take it back. I don't know if they're bastards. Well, this has been episode 43. We'll see you here next week for episode 44. And remember, if you ride your bike at night, chop your salad.
That's